Yes, I can.
Okay. So next that we will be doing is in these next couple of classes, we'll be talking about different ways of doing the data cleaning and the different aspects that come with it, because these files can come in different ways, in different methods. Okay. And that is the first objective. And then we will look at visualizations. So unless the data is cleaned up, we will not be able to do any kind of visualization. So that's why we touch upon this first, and then we will be doing the visualization. That's the plan. So
Okay.
here you can see the different options are here. So we go to get data. So from get data, you will get different things here. We go to more. If it is an individual TXT or a CSV file, you would click here. But if it is from a folder, folder will have multiple files. So here you can see this is a folder. Now then we say connect. And we'll get the folder path. Wherever your files are, those places you can go and pick them up. Now let's look at behind the scene while we are which folder we are picking it up, what is there. Here, since it's talking about a folder, it will not show you the contents of the folder. To look at the contents of the folder, we'll have to go from behind the scene. So you see in this, there are 4 CSV files here, 2016, 17, 18, 19. Can you see them?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is one of the files I'm going to move out from here. I'll not have it here. Let's say 2019, I shall remove it from here and I will put it back outside this folder. So when it will import this folder, I will have only 3 files. So this is the data folder. I say OK and we'll say OK. Now it is showing me these 3 files. 4 files actually. That .png is the other file. And I can remove that other file also. I don't need that PNG. It's better if we don't have anything in those other than what we have. So I'll just remove that one. Or I could later on, I could also deselect it, because sometimes what happens, we forget not to select it. In that case, it can give you an error. So I'll again go back. Folder, connect, browse. So now I want to transform data. So it opens the Power Query editor. And it will present me with these files. Now, if I don't need the first one, if you remember, we had this remove rows from top. So I can remove the first one from here. So I'm now left with 3 files. These files that we see here, these are actually binary files. Okay, so that entire record has been uploaded. If I now look at these, I get to see the contents of these files. Okay, these are the different aspects of it. This is the content of the file. Now you can see the data. Yeah. So this is what is there in my first file. This is my 2016 file. Then one by one, I can review all these files. Now, if I say OK, and I can see the entire data over here. Do you see this? And if I click on this, I get 2016, 17, 18, because these were the 3 files. Yeah, you selected. Correct. Now, once I'm done with this, if my data is totally clean, I don't need to do any further cleaning, then it's fine. I'm happy with this. In case I need to do anything else, then I'll have to do that data cleaning aspect. Otherwise, I'll just go and hit close and apply. So it's showing error messages because there is a problem with the file, or a problem with the file, or it might have found some data related issue. Like in our case, we remove that image file, right? Sometimes if the file format is not proper, it is not able to find it, or there is some data related issue, it will not be able to handle it. That is why we need those cleaning activities to be done. Shouldn't take so much time. It might be because of that error issue. Let me just check once again. Here on this icon also, there is one combine files option here on the ribbon. Can you see this on the right hand side?
Yeah, yeah.
So you can use that also to combine these files. So on the right hand side here, you can see the data has got loaded.
Yeah.
If we go to the table view, you will be able to see the data that has got loaded here. Okay. And if I were to look at the sources here, 16, 17, 18. So far clear? No issues?
Yeah.
All right. Now see the beauty of this system. I have this 16, 17, 18. If you remember, I had removed one file from the data folder.
Yeah, 2019 you removed.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do, since the format and all this is the same, I'll just drag it and put it back in there.
Okay.
It went to the wrong folder. Okay, now I got this 2019 file. Yes. So it is quite like this, that every week, suppose you are getting in files, so on a weekly basis, and you keep it in a particular folder. And then all that you have to do here is come here next week. When you get a new file, you come and refresh the data here.
Okay.
So I do refresh data. And once my data is refreshed, see, it is now refreshing the data. So if I now come here, you will see 2019 file has got added.
Okay.
Now, when this file gets added, the application will on its own apply all the steps that we did on that previous transformation.
Okay.
Did you understand the flow behind this? Okay. Okay. So I'll repeat this.
You have to, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, tell me.
It's not showing right now, so you have to click OK, then it will show, right?
No, it is showing. All I have to, this was the filter, right? So if I scroll down, this is 19. See, 19 is there.
Yes.
So I showed you from the data filter here. So if my 19 earlier, if you remember, 16, 17, 18 was showing.
Yeah.
Now 19 has also got included.
Yeah.
Clear? So this is one way of merging files that are same in nature. So they have to be identical basically. Otherwise, this kind of merging will not work. It will add on blank columns. Otherwise, empty columns will come in. Data rows will be blank, which will just mess up your data.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll repeat the steps. So what did we do? First step is to obviously identify from which folder you want it and ensure that the files that you want, they are there. And this, remember, works with CSV files only. There are other ways of merging Excel files and all that, but this particular approach is with CSV files. Now here, when we are doing this, we go to get data, more, there is a folder here. Click on folder and then click connect.
Yeah.
So once you click connect, these files will get picked up by after you put in the folder name and the folder path.
Yeah.
And I click on data.
Yeah.
Say okay. And then it will ask you, what do you want to do? If you want to load it directly, okay, it's all fine and hunky-dory, so you can say load, or you can just say transform data. If you want to remove or you want to do some cleanup, you want to check the data on the files. Sometimes what happens unknowingly, there might be some things which are there, which have to be removed. Okay. Or some special characters come in. Those kind of things also happen. So I can click on this combine files also, and it will evaluate the query.
So we can transform data after loading as well, right?
Yes, yes, that also you can do. That also you can do. It will bring you back here only.
Yeah.
So it is the Power Query editor where you do all your data editing things. So you will, if I look at the filter here, I'll be able to see 16, 17, 18. Okay. And then I close and apply.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it right now because the same data is already there. So I'll be able to see the data here. Looks good.
Yeah.
Next time when you get a file, all you have to do is you have to come to this data set here, right click, and you can refresh it. So I right click and I can refresh it from here. All right. Next. Sometimes what happens, you have an Excel file where you have data on different sheets. Have you ever had a situation where you have data on a file on a lot of worksheets where you have similar kind of data on multiple worksheets? Have you ever had a situation? So in those cases, what we have to do is we have to uh, merge that data into same files. So let's say we have a file which was like something like this only, where we have everything on one file. So like this training 16, 17, 18, 19 that we had, instead of this, I have it on one single place.
Okay.
Okay, in one single file. For example, let me see if this has.
Wanted to mean rather than text files, if we have an Excel file which has all the data, right?
Yes, yes. Now, this is a very common issue that we have. What happens is, we keep creating data on different worksheets in an Excel file. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe January, February, March, April, like that. After some time, you want to see everything in one single place. If you want to do such a analysis. If you look at this data here, see, I have the data of 2016. I have the data of 2017. I also have the data of 2018. Now my question is, how will I merge these three into one single file? Earlier, what we saw multiple files being combined into one file.
Yeah.
Here, what we are doing, we are trying to combine multiple data from different sheets.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, what we are going to do here is, first step that you need to do is ensure that all of them have a name. Okay. You're probably aware that in Excel, you can name these in this fashion. Suppose I call this, I select the entire data and I will say, let's say training 18.
Okay.
Then I can select all this and I will call it training 19. Then I have 16. Training 16. So I have got training, should have training 17. Okay. So I have got training 17, training 16, training 18. Now, these three are what we call as tables. So from here, what we'll be doing is we go to data. Okay. And here you have this get and transform data.
Okay.
From here, there's one option called from table or range.
Okay.
So we will create the Power Query from this.
Okay.
So now I have got this training 17.
Yes. Yeah.
This is one way. Another way is I have to now keep doing this individually. Another way is I'll close this. I will save this file. And I can do the here like we have the get data and all this. I'll go to a new file and I'll say get data from file Excel workbook. This was my training file that I just now did. Now see, I have these coming up here.
Yeah.
So I have 16 data. I have 17 data. I have 18 data.
Yeah.
All that I have to do here is I have to click on this, select multiple items, 1, 2, 3, and say transform or load, either way.
I have a question. You selected the data which you named later.
Correct.
Suppose we are doing it on the other way, so without naming them, we can just select the spreadsheets as well, worksheets as well.
No, those do not appear as separate worksheets in that case. They will appear as the file. That is why we have to name them first. So it is able to identify which part of the data you need.
Okay.
Then I say close and load. So here we can see the first row, this one is fine. This is also fine, but in 2018, oh, this one is also, okay. Did not combine.
Yeah.
there is an option here, load, and usually why is it not combining? Ugh.
I think the first time it got combined.
After that, it uh, keeps it in its memory actually. It is picking them up as separately rather than combining all three. Yeah.
That means we can do, but
yeah, due to some issues, I think either that or usually this one through Excel is works best because that is much more effective than doing it from any other means. So
normally we always have Excel files with like this type of January, February, March.
correct,
And
correct.
we can
Exactly.
combine it.
Then it's very convenient also that if you can just
Yeah.
combine it, then it works very well. Just see what's it.
Because I don't get CSV files.
Okay, you get Excel files.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll check this, why it's not happening.
It's okay.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because sometimes
Because only one table is coming here. It should not happen. There should be multiple files. Okay. So this was about, combining different files, whether it is from a table or from a range. And then based on that, we can do the different things. Now, the next part of it is like sometimes what happens, these files that we get, they may be in some other format. Format in the sense that they could be like, in a totally tabular format. Tabular format could be something like, you might have seen this. We do it in a Word or PowerPoint, where we have to merge these files and tables, columns, and based on that, we get different types of uh, examples. Okay, where we are actually open up a file, then we'll see. Let's look at a data like this. This is a typical tabular form of data.
Yeah.
Now, if we have to do any kind of Excel related analysis, it becomes very difficult here.
Okay.
Why? There are blank cells. There's a blank row. Some of the columns are merged.
Yeah.
Can you see June and July, they are merged. Again, there is revenues and rest of the cells are merged.
Yeah.
So this data, we will have to bring it in a more Excel type of format.
Okay.
How that will help? That will help us because then we can do filtering, we can do the data combination in any other format, we can do calculations and things like that. This is a small file. Okay, you would probably do it faster in Excel.
Yeah.
But think of it, if you have a large file like this, or multiple cell on multiple sheets, you have files like this, it's going to be a problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for that, what we can do here is, we will again, let's say we can do it directly from here also. We can directly go to data and we can say from table or range, and this will get loaded into Power Query.
Okay.
As you can see, there are so many null things.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big mess.
Yeah.
It has promoted the headers also.
Yeah.
But this header doesn't have a column name. This doesn't have a column name. Neither this nor this. This one has June, July is there. Maybe August is there. Suppose it was a 12-month kind of data. Then you will have 12 months, right?
Yeah.
So what you can do here is, like we promoted the headers. Let me remove the headers also. So I have something like this. One very easy thing that we can do here is, if you look at this, we have the revenues here, but this is revenue blank. Nothing is here. If I do a filter, only this revenue and this expense will come, or probably total revenue. All of them, others are null.
Yeah.
Correct. So what we are going to do here is, we will first use some of the features of what we did before, Power Query transformation. And we will add some column names or we'll add some column titles, which will make it much easier to deal with.
Okay.
So what kind of features we can use? For example, I select this, I go to transform. There's an option to fill.
Yeah.
I'll say fill down. See what has happened? This has become revenue, 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 total revenue, total revenue, expense, 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 expense.
Okay.
How will this help me? Yes. How will this help me? Suppose I don't, now you see these are all this total revenue, rest of it is null. This expense, rest of it is null. This revenue, rest of it is null. So I don't need these.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can take any of these columns, wherever there is a null or anything like that, I can remove them.
Yeah.
But before doing that, I must be careful. Why? Because if you see here, this is June actual, this is June budget, but there is no June here. So ideally, yes, we can fill this also, but fill, you cannot do right and left here.
Yeah.
So you can only do fill down. So what we are going to do first here is, we will combine these two columns. Why? I'll show you in a few minutes. Once I combine these two, say add column, okay? And from here, I can merge the two columns. What do I want as a separator? Maybe I want space. And what do I want the merged column? I'll say account. I'll give a common name.
Okay.
So after combining these two, what has the system produced? It has produced an account column which says revenue electronics, revenues fashion,
Okay.
revenues.
Yeah.
This one I can drag and bring it right in the front, in the first column. Now these two I no longer need. Yeah. Because it is already merged into one single column.
One column. Yeah.
So I'll remove this one. Okay. Now, if I want to remove these, say I don't need this null row, I don't need this. So what I will do, let's say only revenues I don't need, only expenses I don't need. Maybe I don't need the total revenue, net income. The whatever I don't need, I'm going to say remove. Clear?
Clear.
Then my next, so this part of my cleaning is done.
Yeah.
Next option is I have to clean the headers. That means what? I want June, June, July, July, like this. What I'm going to do here is,
I'm thinking we can we combine the rows as well?
Yes, actually that feature doesn't exist. We cannot combine rows, but we can combine columns, or we can do fill down. fill up. We cannot do fill right. If I could do fill right, at least I could have said June, June, June here. Correct. So for this, what I do have is I have a transpose option. What transpose will do is will move the rows to columns and columns to rows.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Then I will do the exact feature here. I'll say fill down. So now it becomes June, 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 July, July, July. And I can also combine these two. By clicking on merge columns, separator, space, merge column. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, something like monthly.
Monthly accounting.
Monthly account type. You can call it whatever you want as per you.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
So if I am happy with this,
Yeah.
I can keep it like this. And all I have to do here is promote my header, use first row as header. So this becomes my header.
Can you show me again the promoting the?
So this was my first row.
Yeah.
I want this to become my header.
Okay.
So I will say use first row as headers.
Yeah.
Next, there is something called as unpivot. Unpivot means whatever was merged here, that it will unmerge. Like when we do a pivot, pivot is like a summary, isn't it? So what we can do here is there is something called as unpivot other columns. So when you do this, system will create something like this. This is usually the original data that is given to us.
Yeah.
From there, we then do the pivot table, we do the merging, we do the manipulation and come up with a data like the one we just now saw. Now, if you are okay with this, you can close and load it and it will come into Excel.
Okay.
Now you can do your filtering, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if you look at how the original file was,
yeah, it's like a Word file.
Exactly. Yeah, it becomes like this. This will obviously work very well when you have a large file with multiple columns, multiple months. Here it is a simple file with 3 columns, 3 months. Oh, no, not even 3 months, 2 months, June and July. Suppose I have for Jan to December. Right? In that case, the same things will apply. So whatever operations we did, they will apply also for other months. Making sense?
Yeah.
Let me see. There was another file that we had. In your classroom, the files that are shared, you will find all these files are already uploaded there. Okay. So from there, you can also download the files and you will get them.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not finding this, but let me show you this once again. Okay. Now that you have got this idea about what is happening here. Okay. So we start with this data again. And then we go to data from table, range, and this data gets merged. Okay, so we can see here. So looking at the data, you might have to do multiple iterations. You know, how is it? When is it going to happen? How are you going to do it? You know, what kind of data cleaning is required? Because it all depends on what kind of data you are given ultimately. So if you see here, I have promoted the headers here. So I don't need the promotion here. So instead, I'll delete this. So what was my first step? We combined these two.
Yeah.
So I combined these two. I go to merge, transform, merge columns. How? With separators. So you can use a separator. You can put a space, dash, comma, colon. If it is custom, you can put your own.
I think first we fill it down, then we combine the columns. Because otherwise,
The other way, exactly. So it depends on what kind of data you are having accordingly. Like you rightly pointed out, we can do the fill first, fill down. Then we can combine these two.
These two, yeah.
We can come here, merge columns from here also we can do. And we can say, how do I want it? What will be the separator?
Separator can be anything, but
Yes.
Only space or?
No, no. You have a whole lot of options there. Like you have, oh,
Stop again.
this Power BI is very, very resource hungry.
Very slow.
Mm.
It's too much time to load. Um, I think it's not going to work.
Okay, so we are back with our file.
But before this, there is a problem with the budget value.
Yeah, that is because it's not visible. So
Okay. Okay.
let's start again. Go to table and range. I don't need this. I don't need this. First is, let me set fill. Okay. Then we are going to merge these two. Let's say which columns. See, these are the separators. Okay. If you don't want any separator, you can say none. Otherwise, you can choose a colon, you can choose a comma, equal sign, semicolon, space, tab, or you can put a custom one also. Custom will be something like dash. Okay. So name of the merged file will be, like we said, account or account type, something like this. So it will come at the end. Then we will drag it and bring it to the front. Where is it? Okay. Then based on this, see here.
1 second.
Yeah.
Is there any other procedure without dragging it?
Yeah, you can do this. You can right click, you can say move. If you say to end, it will go to the end.
Yeah.
If you right click, move, say to the beginning, it will move to the beginning.
It's better for me because sometimes
yes, using
my
the
mouse does not work.
yes. It's very tricky also. You have to hold it down. And particularly if it is a big file, lot of columns, it will be difficult to hold it down and keep moving it, right? So in that case, you can quickly do this. Now, after we merge this, we no longer need these two. So we'll remove these two. So I am now left with this.
Yeah.
If I don't need, usually it is a practice that any calculated columns, if you look at this, this was actually a sum of these three.
Yeah.
What will happen if these values change or if I do any manipulation, this formula should also change. Yeah. But this will not happen because what system did is it converted it into a fixed value. It removed the formula from there. So that is why it is best that we remove these total columns. Later on, see, our objective in doing this is to take it back to the original Excel format. Yeah. Where if we do a pivot table, it will automatically get these total columns, total revenue, total expenses. So I can just click on this and I will remove the ones that I don't need. Let's say I don't need the revenues. So this revenues is gone. I don't need this expenses. I don't need total expenses, total revenues, net income, any calculations that are there. I don't need them.
Yeah. So we will just deselect that.
Just deselect it. So because I could have removed null, but the problem with the null is it will remove the rows also.
Yeah.
So I don't want that to happen. That's why I came to the account time and kept it there. So current format, my columns are taken care of. Now I have to take care of my rows are taken care of. Now I have to take care of my columns here. So for this, I'm going to do the reverse thing.
Yeah.
Right. So in this case, I can transpose it. If I transpose, my rows become columns, column becomes rows.
Yeah.
Now I have column 2 and column 1 here. I can move this to the left. Then I can merge these two. But before merging, I want to fill up my empty.
Yeah. Fill down and then merge.
Then I will combine these two. This time I'm just using a space. I'll say monthly account. So I get this now.
Yeah.
Each row, I suppose I want this to be the header. Use first row as headers. Then the next step is I have to unpivot it.
Yes.
So I can say unpivot this column. But what will happen? I shouldn't do this column. What should I do? I should do other columns, right? So I will remove this, and this is what I was trying to show you. If I right click, you will get two options here. One is unpivot columns and one is unpivot other columns. So if I say unpivot columns, I will get the other one. That means I'll get this one only, but I shouldn't do this. I should instead do other columns.
Okay. Oh, got it.
That's the difference.
Okay, this is actual, this is budget, and this is the variance.
Correct. Once I am okay with this, I'll say close and load.
Yeah.
If I want a header here, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you are able to see the entire thing. If you want to do any kind of, analysis with this pivot table, or you want to create your own tables, you can very well do it.
Yeah. For example, I'd like to remove the dollar in between. So I'll replace value.
Yes, yes. You can either do it here or you can do it in Power Query also.
Yeah.
Where you have this my data, I'll say edit. I didn't notice that. So we can go back and unpivot it. This was the original thing. So you have this here. So you can say replace values.
Yeah. Dollar with dash maybe or space.
So there are two extra spaces that will come in the variant. So I'll remove one of them. It's clear.
Yeah.
So far we have done data cleaning with respect to text files that see with respect to a folder. We tried it with the tables that is in different worksheets. And the third one that we tried was your cleaning up a merged file, merged data, unmerged it, unpivoted it, did the fill, and did all these activities on it. Clear?
Yeah.
Is this fine so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we do something more?
Can you show me some visualization?
Okay. See, when we have these combining files, na, this option also you get combine and transform data. So you don't have to load them. You will directly able to combine those files and be able to do the.
Yeah.
So I'll say combine. See, it did not find this format. So it is returning an error.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to only ensure these are there so that it can pick this up. Otherwise, we'll have to say transform data so that we get the option of removing it from our list.
Remove the row.
Done. And then we can say combine files. So once my data and everything is loaded, I am happy with this. I'll say close and apply. Once your data is there, you can see all the data over here. Now, once your data is done, then we go into this report view, which is where all your visuals are visible.
Yeah.
So let's say I want a visual, let's say something like pie chart. Okay. And I'll click on pie chart. So this particular thing will get selected. Then I go to the data. And what do I want? So maybe course wise, I'll have to just click the columns, and course wise, it is looking at the attendees. So I can drag and make it big so that it looks good. If I want to add another one, maybe I want a column chart or I want a clustered column chart, depending on attendees, course, venue. So this is how you will be able to build your charts one by one, rather visuals as they are.
And if you do not transport the data, then it will not come
Yes,
properly, right?
exactly. See, if you have those, see here what it is doing a sum of the attendees. If there are strange characters, if there are null values, it will return some random data. May not return the correct data. Okay. So similarly for this course, if the course name is not given correctly, you see so many different course names have come.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't need so many. So in that case, I can just click on this. Maybe I'll have to do some merging, unmerging, like Excel level 1 to 3 is fine. Power BI is fine. Excel dashboard or formulas and functions need not be a separate course.
Okay, it should come around with
As part of Excel, maybe. So those kind of things you will have to consider. That is where that data cleaning part is so important. Hmm. More clean data you have, much better visuals you are going to get. Otherwise, it will not help.
Correct. After I import the view, can we go back to the transform data?
Yes, that yes, data you can always go back, not an issue. You come here, you have transform data, transform the data, and you can do the cleanup here.
Okay.
That is the advantage of Power BI, because in Power BI, what is happening? You are keeping these two things separate, data and visuals.
Before. Yeah.
If you take care of your data, then your visuals will come out okay, perfect in Power BI.
But if I want to combine Excel, it will be difficult, right? We need to make then a separate column and then.
What do I want to do? Can you please repeat that again?
If I want to put, means I do not want separate report visualization for Excel level 1 and Excel dashboard. I want to combine them. Then I have to create another column.
Yes, you can create a column. You can create maybe, you can take maybe one or two characters from here and then see whatever is common.
Yeah.
Right. So you can say, see, if you just, I'm just thinking out of my mind, I may be totally wrong, but this is just a thought. If I take E from one character from each of them, I'll get Excel E.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is one way maybe. Later on, we'll see you can do grouping also. You can combine all these files into one single value called Excel courses.
Yeah.
So those are different ways in which you can do this kind of.
So how can I do that? Can you show me if I want to do a grouping of Excel files?
If you want to do
a grouping of Excel files.
Oh, okay, sure. So that is called, I'll cover that topic today. So that is called, there is something called as grouping. Okay. So when it comes as a text, okay, you can combine them through something called as group. So what do we do through a group? Like we click on codes, we right click on this, and here you will see there is an option to group them. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here, see this group by. So when we say group by, here you can say how do you want them and what kind of function. No, not this. Sorry, not this. This is the. It's not given here. Let me go to the transfer.
So will it convert the list will do or?
Yes, we can do that. I'm not able to find that option. Where is it? Okay, it might be in that, may not be in the Power Query. 1 minute. Let me load. Yeah, it's probably here. So when we have this course here, you right click here. Here you can see there is an option to create a group. Okay.
Oh, it's in Excel.
Yeah.
Right?
No, not in Excel. It's in the main Power BI itself. I was looking in the Power Query, right? So I was not able to find. So here, when you right click on the data itself, you will find an option to group it. So when you say new group, here you can see what are the things that are going to be grouped together. Okay, so here we are doing this codes group. Suppose you want, let's say Excel, all Excel related stuff. I will say group. Okay, and I will put it here, group. So I have these 4 groups. Okay. And here I can give it a name of the group. So I'll say
Excel groups.
Yeah.
Excel course.
Now it will add another column where it will put all of these as Excel. Okay. Now here, when you're doing this, edit the group. If you see here, all these are being combined together. And these are not combined. Okay. So if I now want to group this, I'll click on group and this will become another group here. If I want to group these as Excel, everything as Excel, I can say group and this will get merged into the higher level. Okay. And if I right click, I'll be able to rename it. Excel courses, let's say. And this one is, I'll say, Power BI courses. And this one, let me say, courses. So courses is already there. I'll say course group maybe. So now I have a course group where these are all old Excel courses. Wherever there is Excel, we said Excel courses. Wherever there is Power Query, related Power Query, DAX, all these are Power BI courses.
So while you're doing the visualization, we'll select this column in place
Exactly. Now you have a new column here.
Yeah.
If you want
But
to
I think it will be very difficult. Here there is only 2 types, right?
Correct.
If we have 10,000 data, then grouping them, checking them, and if by one, it will be
it is difficult. So that is why I was saying that one option could be that we do an extract, right? We do something, we understand if there is something common there. For example, now see, I have this, I go to data transform data. So I have this option here, course. This was our, where is our group? This is the course name, right? So from here, if I want to do date, either split number of characters 1. Okay. Now, rather than doing this, Once. It was doing repeatedly, so it was breaking it up by word. E. So if I don't need these, you see this course one, I can just remove this column. So now I have all the E's together. So that will be decided by how they have, what are the data options that you have. Based on that, you will be able to use the corresponding option.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you do this in Power BI, you will be able to merge these data into a group. So once you do this grouping, if it is text, we do a grouping like this. If it is a number, right? So you can also do number grouping. In this case, number grouping, it is just a random number that it does. Okay. Now it splits it into something called as a bin. Bin is like a, you can say it's like a range.
Okay.
Okay. Between the minimum value and the maximum value, you can say what is the bin size. So you can say maybe 4. So it will split it up accordingly. Some will be in 4, some will be in 0, some will be in 1, depending on the numbers.
Okay, it will put a range on itself.
Yes. And unfortunately, in this right now, it becomes very confusing because we tend to think as bin as a range, right? 1 to 4, 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12. But it doesn't think of it like that. It actually considers it as a random number and it tries to move to the lower end of it. And it becomes very confusing actually. If you see here, this attendee is 5, but it says this is 4. Okay, fine. If I scroll down, if you see here 3, it says 0.
0.
If you look at 6, it says 4. You get what I'm saying? It is it is something that they have given and we have no control over this.
So it does not work with numbering.
Means they are saying it is supposed to be a random number to help you segregate numbers. That's it. Because if it was group, normal group, what happens? You have 2 types. One is list, one is bin. List is in case of text, bin is in case of numbers.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So when bin works, if we have the range like a number of population 10,000, 20,000, so that time it will work. So it will do the same.
It's if you go by what Power BI is defining it, bin is nothing but a random number.
Okay.
It is a random number to help you group numbers.
Certain numbers, yeah.
Certain numbers. That's it. It doesn't say it's a lower limit or an upper limit.
Yeah.
It is not uniform.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it. If it is like a group, if it is in 0 group, the range moving from 0 to 5.
Correct.
And then, yeah, it's a 4 group, it may be 6 to 30, whatever we selected. Yeah, got it.
It would have been much helpful if they had given it this. Probably in future versions, they might rectify this. Okay. So I'll repeat once again what we did. We had this course here. I clicked on this. I go to new group.
Yeah.
These are the name of my column.
Yeah.
And then I can group them.
Yeah.
Excel, 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 Excel. I say group. What it actually does is when I ungroup it, randomly it will take the names of all of this and put it as a group name.
Yeah, separating them.
Yes. So you will have to double click and make the change here.
Yeah.
Excel, Excel courses, whatever you want to call it. And this one, you then group it and you say Power BI. Okay.
Yeah.
And you say, so I have now a course group where each of them are segregated.
Yeah.
And when it comes to numbers, oh, one more thing. When I edit the group, you will see the group type here is list.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's a text.
It's text. When it is number, attendees is a number. So when I go to new group, it will say bin.
Okay.
But if I want a list, I can still do that.
Okay.
Right. So this one, you will have to do it manually in that case.
Okay.
You
Okay,
say,
you can put a range there, right?
yes, that you can do manually.
Yeah.
So you can say 6 to 10.
Yeah. And that's better than the bin. 10 to 15 maybe.
Yeah, it depends on your values.
Whatever.
See, it comes as a text.
Yeah. Okay. This type of grouping will be helpful if we have a range. Suppose we are thinking of a population density of 15,000 per kilometer like this, so we can do that. This is all text.
Yes, yes. So this way, it helps you. Basically, it's way of grouping the data, you can say. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So today we did 4 things. Number 1, we combined files from a folder. Number 2, we tried to combine data from the table. I'll check it out why it did not happen. Or I'll share you there was a previous class where we had this. So I'll share you. And third one is we cleaned up the financial data. So it was pivoted data. We made it unpivoted.
Unpivoted.
Right. And fourth one, we did this group and list. Right. Anything else we did today?
No, that's it.
I think
That's
this is,
about it.
yeah.
Watch columns in.
Okay. Now,
Okay then.
yeah. Another thing I wanted to check with you, Thursday you wanted to do it afternoon. Are you okay with the afternoon?
Afternoon means what time?
Say around 2:30.
2:30 means it will be 1 here. No, it's okay. I'll do because that day I had too many patients. That's why.
Okay.
I added 11 to 1. 11:30 is fine.
11. Or you want to do it later in the afternoon?
Yeah, later 5, maybe 4.
For your time?
No, yeah, Indian time.
Indian time, 4 o'clock. Yeah, 4 o'clock also works.
Okay.
Then
So,
what I will do is I'll reschedule my classes for you.
yeah.
You know, maybe we can look for 4 o'clock every day. Then Tuesday and
Yeah.
Thursdays we'll do 4 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, if it is possible, then fine.
Yes,
Otherwise,
I'll check that and I'll update you in the
I'll
group
let you
only.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.